Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Port to Esports. My name is Darin, Kwilinski, and joining me today, our very special guest. He is a Smash legend, a Smash veteran, considered the best Pikachu in the world. Axe, how you doing today?
Hey, not too bad. Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate you.
Ab- Absolutely. Today, Axe, we're going to be talking about the big Nintendo x Panda Global announcement, that partnership that officially has recognized Smash as an esport, a legitimate esport. We all know it's been legitimate for years and years and years. Nintendo has had its up and downs with the community, but now they're finally officially jumping in with this partnership with Panda Global. Right off the bat, what was your reaction to that news?
I had no idea about it. So that was pretty insane just to see, just like this big announcement that Nintendo is actually wanting to have a circuit of tournaments for the Smash scene. And not only just for Ultimate, which I guess would be a little bit more expected. They've done some tournaments and stuff for Ultimate, but for Melee as well. And I think Melee is the big point to talk about here, because I don't think anyone expected Nintendo to jump onto a circuit for Melee as well. Historically, the relationship between Nintendo and the Melee scene has been a bit shaky. There's been a lot of stuff going on, but with the announcement of this circuit and the fact that they're working with Panda, which is a big deal, things might turn around.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about the history. Let's get a lay of the land because you kind of touched on it. We'll talk about a little bit about the Nintendo and community butting heads with each other over the years, but kind of set the stage for Smash as it is before this announcement. The prize pools, how tournaments were organized, and how those kind of how Smash as a grassroots, iconic grassroots esport differs from something like League of Legends or Valorant or even, Overwatch League and Call of Duty, who have that developer support.
Nintendo is more of a family friendly focused company. So normally with their games and things, they don't focus too much on the esports sides of things. Sometimes they have thrown some tournaments in the past, but that's normally if they want to promote some of their newer games, which Ultimate is included in that. So they have run some Ultimate tournaments. As far as Melee goes, that is kind of, it seems like their precedent is kind of, we don't really want Melee to exist anymore for the masses. I guess I'll say we want them all to jump over to Ultimate, so they're all focused on this one game, whatever the newest game is at the time, which right now it's Ultimate. So they've run some Ultimate tournaments, but the Melee scene, Melee in particular, is the one that came out on the GameCube, and it still has a gigantic competitive scene. Thousands of people love this game and still play it to this day. And Nintendo has kind of, in the past, ignored that and also tried to, shut down a lot of tournaments that the Melee scene has tried to run. So that has been really tough for the Melee scene to deal with. For Ultimate side, they have been running tournaments and stuff, but I think a major point is the prize pools. I think most other companies will put in these thousands of dollars or huge prizes for their tournaments. Nintendo instead will put in maybe a controller and a backpack or something for first place. So it kind of hits hard. There's like a huge difference between, Fortnite having millions of dollars in their prize pool and Nintendo having a medal and a controller. So the prize pools are something I'm interested in, because when they announced it, they said they will have cash prizes, which is something I don't think they've done before. I'm not entirely sure about that. But yeah, I think there's a lot of information that they haven't come out with.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people are kind of waiting. Some people are kind of like wait and see. Some are just extremely hype. You kind of touched on Melee, and that's where you've made your bread and butter. But what do you attribute to the longevity of the Smash Brothers scene?
Oh man, I can speak for Melee in particular because I started playing competitively somewhat close to when Melee came out. It was a few years after, but I've been in the scene since 2006 or something, just competing in tournaments. Most of it has been without Nintendo's support. Pretty much all the tournaments since I joined anyway have been grassroots tournaments where we kind of just get together a bunch of people, hold a tournament without Nintendo support. So nothing of that nature. And yeah, I think I touched on it before that it's been pretty hard running tournaments and stuff without their support, because they generally try to shut us down. They want more people to be seeing the newer game, whatever that happens to be. But Melee is that one exception where people just absolutely love this game and still play it regardless. So yeah, it's been a bit difficult, I guess I'll say.
I kind of a question about your career specifically. Without those larger prize pools, it's pretty tough to be a Smash pro, especially if you're not winning. I'm curious, what have been some of the crazier things that you've had to do in order to survive in this scene as a professional?
Well, I'm a bit lucky. I have my Twitch following. I stream on Twitch pretty regularly, so I have that, and I also have a sponsor. It's Tempo Storm right now, and they help me a lot too. So most of my, income, if you will, hasn't come from tournaments as opposed to a lot of other esports players. The money in competing in Smash just isn't really there because of the lack of support from the developer, from Nintendo. I think like most other esports scenes will have support from their developer. Like they'll put money in the prize pool and stuff, and some competitors can actually make a living just off of winning tournaments. That's how it is. But I can say with Smash, and especially with Melee in particular, going for this many years, it's never really been about the money. For me personally, it's about just the love of the game. Like I absolutely love Super Smash Brothers Melee. It's my favorite video game even to this day. Something about it, just the speed, how exciting it is. I don't know, just the way the game flows and how cool the advanced techniques mesh in together. I just absolutely love this game, and I think it's super fun to compete in. So I kind of just do it for the love of the game, and I kind of lucked out with the whole sponsor and streaming thing. But I think most people that try to live as a top competitor in Smash, and especially in Melee, they kind of do the same thing. It's more about the love of the game and not necessarily for the money.
Got it. For this circuit, what are your hopes, like your highest hopes for this circuit? And do they match your realistic expectations?
The answer to that second question is no. What I would like is for Nintendo to do what a lot of other companies do for their esports scenes, which is basically just put a lot of support in financially and just so basically I want them to run these tournaments, right? Get a really good venue, advertise for it, and make these tournaments really hype and exciting, like just draw in a lot of people. And it would be great to put in potentially some large prize pools to bring out even more competition. That the big prizes always incentivizes players to come out and compete and everything like that. So that would be really cool to see from Nintendo. But they haven't really been about that. They haven't really been on the financial prizes type of thing. So I don't really expect them to. But one thing that's notable here is that they're working with Panda, or also known as Panda Global, which is an esports organization that has worked within the Smash scene for a very long time. And they've done some great work for the Smash scene. And so I do have a lot of hope because they're working with them. And if it was only Nintendo just announcing this and working it, I wouldn't really have any interest. But I've talked a lot with Panda myself. I know a lot of the guys there, and they've been working in the scene for many years. So I do actually have hope that this circuit's actually going to be something really good.
You touched on this earlier and a couple of times, just Nintendo butting heads with the community. They're notoriously hands off, mostly within the Smash communities. They've even sent cease and desist letters to tournaments, even as recently as August, to Riptide to stop Project Plus from being played at that tournament. Um, and some people are really hype about this. Hungerbox tweeted a lot of support for it. Mango did not have a lot of support for this. He said, and I quote, Nintendo can still suck these balls. I have zero faith and refuse to be excited in any way, shape, or form. Now, obviously, there's some resentment within that tweet, but overall, does this announcement change the perception of Nintendo within the Smash community?
The fact that they're working with Panda alone is a huge deal. Like I said before, if they just announced that they're running a circuit for both Ultimate and Melee, that doesn't really matter. It would still be very questionable. But the fact that they're working with Panda, who's someone who is well, Panda is something that the Smash community can relate to, who's done a lot of great work in the scene. That does bring high hopes. I can see the perspectives of both personalities who tweeted, both Hungrybox and Mango. I see it from both perspectives. From Mango's perspective, it's kind of like they've kind of screwed over the Smash scene so many times in the past, especially the Melee scene. Mango is a top Melee player. And in the Melee scene, yeah, there's a lot of times where they have sent cease and desists to shut down Melee tournaments. Notoriously at Evo 2013, when Melee was first going to be on like a gigantic stage, they tried to shut it down. They didn't want us to stream their game, and I think it's because it wasn't their newest game at the time, and they want to advertise only their newest, not one of the older ones like Melee. And yeah, that's happened many, many times throughout these past handful of years, and it's been tough to deal with. But this time, I think the reason why Hungrybox is so excited about it and tweeting, this is like a turn or something for Nintendo, is because they're working with Panda and they're running a circuit for both Ultimate and Melee. The Melee is the one that's notable there because it's like they're recognizing that there is still a big competitive scene for one of their older games, and they're finally kind of embracing that a bit, which is the first time they've done so. And I think that's a big step in the right direction. I'm really happy to see that, because I think it's better than anything that they've done up to this point, I would say. And of course, working with Panda, that's just a huge. It kind of just gives me hope. So I see it from both perspectives. I think only time will tell to see how this goes.
Final question for you, Axe. How does this circuit succeed, and how does it fail? Like, how do you see it going? If it goes well, it's A plus. Everyone loves it. Like, what are the points that Nintendo and Panda Global need to hit? And then conversely, what are the things that they need to avoid in order for it to fail? Or to succeed, sorry.
The prize, yeah, no worries. If the prize is a controller or a backpack, everyone's going to be really mad. like you got to have some real prizes that you would see at other major tournaments. We've had plenty of grassroots tournaments with thousands of dollars in the prize pool, which is really exciting. Like, all these people are competing for the grand prize of, all this money, or even like big trophies, or, the chance to win all these things. It's really exciting seeing what's on the line. But some tournaments that Nintendo has run in the past, it's like, oh, you win some Nintendo coins or a backpack, and it's like, why would you even bother for that? I think one big notable thing that they need to do is advertise for it quite a bit. And I would say to just trust Panda's judgment. Like, they've done some great work, and I think they know what they're doing. So I think as long as they follow what Panda would say is the right steps to run a successful tournament, then they will be successful. I mean, that's what I think. They need to, yeah, I think it mainly comes down to advertisement and getting a good venue for it and just hyping it up. We want it to be really exciting, a good stage. And in this day and age, definitely a really great stream to just stream it to a live audience so people can see good production and things like that. And I'm hoping to see all of that in the future. I guess we'll see.
Absolutely. Melee and, even Ultimate have created some of the most hype moments within esports, all the way from Evo and even just, last week's main stage 2021 that had an amazing best of 5 for Smash Ultimate. So yeah, I think the hype is going to be there, and I really, really hope that this works out for the Smash community as a whole. Axe, thank you so much for joining us and giving us a lot of insight in this conversation. Panda Global, I hope it's going to work out for the Smash community. I have high hopes for it as well. I hope to see you competing in it. Thank you for your time. For everything else, Smash Brothers and esports and gaming, keep it locked right here on IGN Compete.